Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Victor, and today I'm sketching here in the Botanical Garden of Bucharest. I'm walking around here and honestly I don't know what to sketch first. There's just so many things to choose from. You can really see that autumn has arrived. The leaves are starting to fall and the colors are changing. It's such a beautiful time to be here in the Botanical Garden. It rained last night, so it's a bit muddy. So I'm looking for a spot so that I won't get too dirty. Maybe I could sketch this house with a red brick facade, or I'll just walk a bit more to find maybe other interesting subjects. I love how the light falls on these old greenhouses. I'll look around and find a comfortable place to sit down and sketch. I really like this old greenhouse with so many plants around. It has such a charming atmosphere and I think it could make a great subject to sketch. I haven't posted in a while, but I'm happy to be back with my Moleskine sketchbook, which I haven't used for a long time. It feels good to finally open it and start sketching again. I'm going to start by framing the composition, just using my fingers to decide what I want to sketch. I really like those shadows coming from the right side. They add so much depth and atmosphere. In today's sketch I'll be using my Moleskine fineliners, UNI PIN, Winsor Newton Cotman watercolors, water brush, and some tissues to absorb any excess water. This setup works really well for me when sketching outdoors. These clips are really useful, especially when it's windy outside, but they also help keep the pages of my sketchbook together. They make sketching outdoors much easier. I'm starting with these single fineliners, size 04, establishing the largest shapes. First, I'm looking at the nearby greenhouse and noticing some forms around it, arranging them as I go using hand-eye coordination. These are simple shapes: a rectangle, a parallelogram, and a trapezoid. I like to start with these basic forms to build the composition before adding any other details. I'm trying to use a minimal approach to create simple shapes that are easy to read. Keeping it simple helps to sketch clear and visually it feels pleasing. I'm moving to the building in the middle and placing it in relation to the largest building that is closer to me. This helps keep the proportions and perspective consistent in the sketch. There is a passage, like a small walkway or a tunnel, that connects the old greenhouse to the new one. I like including these kinds of details because they show how the space is organized. Next, I'm adding the greenhouse in the background, which is symmetrical to the first one closer to me, but is smaller due to perspective. This helps create depth and balance in the composition. Now I'm making the shadows where they fall, since they keep moving. The sun isn't constant. I like to capture these changing shadows because they add life and depth to the sketch. Now I'm adding the bushes and the trees. These are elements that keep the frame of the composition and make the scene feel more lively and natural. I'm switching now to my 02 pen to add some details, but I'm trying to avoid adding too many extra lines because I want to keep it clean and readable. I'm noticing some chimneys from a nearby heating plant, and I'll add them in the background. They give a bit of industrial character without taking attention from the main scene. At the top of a greenhouse there is a little rough roof structure. I'm not exactly sure what it's called, but I'll include it. These small details make the sketch feel more complete. Here you can see some bricks showing through the fallen plaster, which really shows that the building is a bit worn down. I like including these details because they add character and sense of history. Let's move on to adding color with watercolor. I'll start with the sky, which is clear today, and I'm going to add a slightly lighter blue to give it some variation. Adding more water, squeezing the brush adds more lightness to the color. While the paint is still wet, I can still lift it a bit with tissue if I'm not satisfied with the result. Here is a gradient of color from darker to lighter. For the color of greenhouses, I'm mixing a bit of this green with a bit of Payne's gray, more of Payne's gray to make it grayish. Now I'm adding this greenish grayish mixture to the surface of the greenhouses, trying to make it as light as possible because it's glass that reflects light as well. While the surface of the greenhouse is drying, I'm moving to the ground surface, adding this diluted ochre to establish the base color of the sketch. Using a more concentrated yellow ochre, I'm now adding color to the walls of the building. This helps give them more presence and contrast in the sketch. For the rusty rooftops, I'm using burnt sienna. It gives them warm, aged look. that really matches the scene. For the trees and the bushes, I'm using this green straight from a palette. I like to keep things simple and letting the natural shapes show through. For the shadows, I'm using this ultramarine blue directly. The color diffuses nicely over the still wet green layer, creating soft natural shadows. It's time to work on shadows. I'm using a mixture of ultramarine blue and burnt sienna. This is my favorite combination for shadows. It gives a nice depth without being too harsh. Using the same mixture but a bit more diluted, I'm now adding shadows to the greenhouses and the building. This helps tie everything together and gives the scene more depth. I really enjoy being here in the Botanical Garden because it's so peaceful. You can feel the calm away from the noise of the traffic, and it's perfect place to slow down and focus on sketching. The sounds of nature around me make it even more relaxing and inspiring. Being in such a calm environment really helps me focus on the sketch. I can take my time to notice little things like the way shadows fall or how the colors of the buildings are. It's not about perfection, it's about showing up, practicing and enjoying the process. Now that the main shapes, colors and shadows are in place, I'm adding the final touches, a few extra details here, some highlights there, just enough to bring the sketch to life. And that's it, a simple, relaxed sketch from the Botanical Garden, capturing the light, colors and peaceful atmosphere. And here is the final sketch. You can see the composition, the shadows and the colors all coming together. I really enjoyed capturing this scene from the Botanical Garden. The light, the textures and the peaceful atmosphere. Sketching here reminds me of why I love urban sketching. And it's not about perfection, but about observing, practicing and enjoying the moment. Thanks for joining me today. I hope this inspired you to take your sketchbook outdoors and explore your surroundings. See you next time.